WandaVision, great episode. We're gonna talk about. We're just gonna give quick things that we saw each, and then second part is gonna be uh, possible theories, and then the third part is discussions on references and things like that we found. Um, Let me remind you that if you can't catch us live here on Twitch, if you are here on Twitch, please follow. If you can't catch us live, we are on YouTube, we're on Spotify, Google, and Anchor, all those podcast places. So make sure to give us a follow, subscribe, like, all those things. But yeah, no, let's get started. First thing I have here is we did call it. It looks like, from what Vision was saying, it looks like it started off as an accident, and then Wanda realizes an accident, and then she just did not want to stop. Right? She's grieving, and she doesn't want to go back to real life, right? So it's pretty cool that she's refusing to stop. The next thing is, I don't know about you guys, but whenever they were doing the recap of the episodes before, I don't know if you noticed this, but when they show Vision coming back into the house and saying, "Hey, where's Geraldine?" Wanda in the recap says she doesn't belong here. But I went back to episode 3, and when she said that before, when Vision came in and said, "Hey, where's Geraldine?" She said, "Oh, she had to go. She had to go home." So I don't know if that's going to come back into play, if that was intentional, or if that was just an overlook. But I just wanted to point it out because that was weird. I immediately caught that. I was like, "No, that's not what you said." Next thing is, I like the way that they're trying to make Hayward a bad guy. Now, the more that they're trying to make Director Hayward a bad guy, the more I'm thinking is he's not going to be a bad guy. Even though he's doing all these shitty things, I don't think he's going to be a bad guy. Like, even with the whole Darcy going, "Oh yeah, he's a," and then he says terrorist. That was hilarious. I like that. That was good. The footage of Wanda breaking in and taking Vision's body, I think that's fake. I want to say that that's fake footage. That's just my thought on it, but it was really good to see where she got the body. It wasn't just that it appeared one day, so that was cool. I want to talk about later on. I want to talk about why Monica doesn't want to talk about Captain Marvel. Every time Captain Marvel came up, she just kept like, nah, who cares? Who cares? We're not talking about her right now,
It's a comic book thing.
Exactly. Wanda being a hypocrite with the whole the boys telling her, "Hey, bring back the dead dog," and she's like, "No, you can't do that." And I'm like, okay. Says says you who brought back dead Vision, right? And then of course Vision was pissed. Vision no longer taking it. That was amazing. As soon as he turned around in the kitchen and was like, "I talked to Norm," I immediately got on my seat. I was like, "All right, here it is. He's gonna do it. He's gonna say something." That was great. That whole scene, beautiful. He doesn't remember anything from his past life. I don't even know. That's crazy. And then, of course, the big reveal is Pietro. Evan Peter shows up. So many things that it could possibly be. I've seen so many things saying that it's Mephisto, not actually Quicksilver. Sorry, Nick. I know you don't like Mephisto, but
we don't talk about Mephisto. We ain't about Mephisto. It's ain't a Spider-Man. It's ain't a Stephen Strange comic.
So it is what it is. But this just brings back to me this episode made episode 1 make so much more sense whenever the guy was choking and the wife was saying, "Don't stop it, stop it." It makes so much more sense of why she was acting the way she was acting, and it makes me question why Norm. Why did it take Vision to like get in his mind for him to know what's going on and like talk about his real life? But Agnes seems to know what's going on. Agnes doesn't require Vision to go in there and like get her out of it. She's just she's out of the she's not acting like everybody else. And that's weird to me, and I just want to point that out. But those are just some of the things that got brought up. Some references that I saw were Monica's lab results being blank. I immediately was like, "Oh, does that have something to do with her being Photon?" I don't know, because I don't really know that character. Billy saying "sit Ubu sit," or he said "sit Sparky sit," but it reminded me of that sitcom. I don't know if you guys watched it, but when I grew up, I used to watch the sitcoms, and at the end it was like "sit Ubu sit." So I immediately saw that, and I loved the theme song. It was just the words in the theme song saying like we're making it up as we go along. Like that was hilarious. But Nick, oh I'm sorry, not Nick, no Carlos. What did you see?
Um, so with this episode, what I enjoyed the most was the raw emotion that you finally got from both Wanda and even more importantly from Vision. I think that it was very important for Vision to actually be mad at Wanda
Mhm.
and for Vision to, finally be able to break out of this control or this almost cloud that he's been sensing since the beginning of the show. Because multiple times when it seems like Vision has noticed things, when he's felt that something just isn't right with their surroundings, Wanda has been able to basically rewind and break him out of that uh, uh, almost realization that he's having. So I really enjoyed Vision being able to confront her, and the argument that they had towards the end of the episode, it was just incredibly well acted, and it really brought that boiling conflict that's been building since the beginning of the show, and I really enjoyed that. You really got to see the not just how much Wanda wants to keep all of this together, but you also see, Vision's um, hesitancy of even being around her now. And I think that that's really going to set up the overall pace and the overall storyline going forward. What I also really enjoyed was that it didn't take so much time for us to get to this point. And I feel like a lot of shows that have a mystery or that have a lot of questions behind it take 6 7 episodes. You only get these answers towards the end, and the payoff is great, but you're left with a lot more wanting. And right now we're getting so much revealed, we're getting so much that's being thrown at us, and there's still 4 episodes left, right? I think that it's 9 episodes.
Maybe
Yeah,
on his fifth one. That's what I heard. There might be a fifth episode or
and
two.
and if there's a fifth one, that'd be incredible. But we still have 4 more episodes to go, and the stakes are only getting higher. So I feel like every single episode, you're just becoming more and more involved. So that was the main thing that I liked about this episode, was that we got to see the raw emotion from Wanda and Vision. I also really like that we're finally starting to feel that everything is starting to crumble. Wanda is starting to lose grasp on what's happening, and you're starting to see that, and I like that. What I also enjoyed was that Wanda is starting to get, I don't want to say reckless, but she's kind of starting to really put herself in a position where she's no longer hiding. And you saw that in the scene where she uses magic to like bring up the dog collar, and she says like we don't have to hide. So those are things that I really enjoyed from this episode. Nick, what do you got?
All right, so first, when I finished watching, I watched the episode last night and then again this morning. The first thing I could think of is again budget, budget, budget. Like this is where like we're seeing like where the two worlds are going back and forth because now we're finally like I said this is probably gonna happen. We're now getting in both the real world, like the current world and Wanda's world at the same time. We're going back and forth. Like that was really freaking cool to see those transitions and how them watching what we're watching is being translated. The other thing is what was I saying? It was oh, you're starting to see all the major plot holes in the story that Wanda's trying to tell. Like
Yeah,
this episode, like everything that like every little hole in her reality was poked through. Everything that could have been like a problem happened, and you're seeing her shit fall apart slowly and slowly. And another thing that I knew was gonna happen, I said this last week, is that the kids are rapidly aging. And not only that, the coolest part is that they are basically in control of it. Like
Yes.
they turn to each other, like not, you can't have a dog until you're 10. They turn to each other, laugh, and the next thing you know, they become 10. And the mom was like, when Wanda was like, "Oh, like don't age yourselves because of this like traumatic incident. Like don't age yourselves to go past the trauma, which is so funny because is basically in this situation using her powers to mask her trauma.
Mhm.
Like that's what I thought was so ironic. The other stuff that I noticed that happened that I liked was like Manny said with director Hayward. Hayward, is that his name?
Yeah.
Director,
Hayward, yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
The director, I think he is a villain. I think they're gonna somehow tie him into being related to someone like the Zemos or something. Because like he's becoming more and more of a dick.
Right.
Like this episode, he really like he all of a sudden they say I thought it was really my favorite part was when they realized Monica realized that her clothes were completely altered and that everything in there is real. Everything's been changed and is physically what it looks like. And that her like bulletproof stuff was turned into clothing. And that they could send something that is accurate to that time period in and it wouldn't change. So when they sent the freaking the drone in, the 80s drone, and it didn't change, but then when the director was like, fire. And she's like, what do you mean? There's no weapon. That I knew he's a villain. He's a villain. Like he snuck weapons into sure. Yeah, he snuck weapons into the thing. Like that's crazy.
Behind everybody's back.
Behind everybody's back. That really like that messed me up. But yeah. Besides that, I think the only stuff like that I wanted to mention was when Wanda walks out of the dome. That's where I'll end it. That was probably the coolest scene we've had so far in the show when she throws the drone. Matt, up to you.
Well, for people that don't know, we have a little Instagram chat that we talk about and communicate with, and I think I was with Nuno having a bit of a debate that about who's doing it better, DC, Marvel, and the TV shows, the comics, and the films.
Yeah.
And I did say DC, but I tell you what, with the TV shows, I tell you what, this show is starting to really set the pace. It's already crapping on all the CW shows. And I think Titans is the only one that could even come close to it. But I'm not trying to make this a DC versus Marvel. I am more of a DC fanboy, but I'll admit when we're losing. But the acting in this whole series has just been superb. I think it's been the best acting out of everything Marvel has done in the MCU. On a big call, I know, but I just think everyone's chemistry they're matched perfectly. Like Wanda and Vision, their chemistry between those two actors, perfect. Jimmy and Darcy, perfect. Haywood and is it Maria or Monica?
Monica.
Maria, Monica and Haywood, like the chemistry with every single duo is just perfection. I like this episode how we go back and forth. It's not just this side or this side. We're now starting to go back and forth with everything. I love that Marvel's just doing everything they can to throw us off course, and they do. They just, when you think, yep, this is going to happen, bang, they will just completely throw you off course. And Haywood, I still think's a villain. I'm confident he's a villain. I said from the start that Wanda's going to be a villain. I don't think people are saying how Mephisto is going to be manipulating her. I just, for some reason, think she's going to be bad. I did watch Age of Ultron yesterday, so I think she's still got it in her to be a baddie. And lastly, I've just got to say, man, how each episode finishes, I could just imagine what the season finale is going to be like. Like, you got to just have a look. Like, every episode leaves a hanger. The season finale is going to be the biggest hanger of them all, and it's just going to bank Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange comes out pretty much after this, doesn't it? That's the next movie out after it, I'm pretty sure. And I think that, mate, Doctor Strange is going to hit over $1 billion for sure. For sure. Just to this show. I think I don't think we're going to get the answers at the end of this show. I think we're going to get the answers in Doctor Strange. I think all the answers are going to come in that film, and this is what this series is setting up. And I just got to say, like, I was one at the start saying this is shit. This is the first 2 episodes. This is ridiculous. I don't even know why I'm going to waste my time. But I also said I will be eating my words, and well, I'm eating them right now. So
Matt, remember, I told you, right? I was not giving up on you. I told you.
thanks, mate. Thanks. So I'll pass it on to was it Carlo next?
What's up, everybody? So, what I liked from the beginning was the opening credits. They're running down the grassy hill and said, "Wait a minute! I think I saw this on Full House. I grew up on Full House, the OG version from the 80s and 90s." And so I went on YouTube, and sure enough, they have that. And I think that's pretty cool because the whole Olsen sister thing's like, okay, that's a nice nod. I caught that. And then it's nice to see Scarlet Witch. I mean Wanda, whatever. She has no nickname. That she was vulnerable. Like many times, she's like, you can see the pain. Like, oh, they're gonna catch on to me. But she has all this power. She can do all this, but she's deep down, she's pretty human. I also like the duos, the chemistry between what was said already. I really like that, especially between Wanda and Vision, and that's what makes the show. And Vision, how he's acting, he's like something strange. I mean, I feel awkward, and then he feels awkward. I feel that, and he just adds to my awkwardness feeling when he's such a good actor. I like the suspense, the buildup when somebody's walking out of the dome. It's like, oh, who is it? Who is it? It's gonna be Vision. It's gonna be Vision because he figured it out. He wants to go outside. He wants to investigate. He wants to see what's going on. And like, oh shit, it's Wanda. And so that threw me for a loop. That was like a great, not a plot twist, but a great surprise. I could have sworn it was gonna be Vision. I'm kind of glad it wasn't. And then again, the same feeling at the end when we see the back of Quicksilver's head. I jumped out on my couch. Oh shit, Magneto! Magneto! Ah, I got so excited. And then the camera's so freaking slow. It was like, okay, come on. Magneto. Quicksilver! Oh my gosh. So great episode. I give this episode a 10. I give all these fucking episodes a 10. And these guys, like, oh no, you gotta give it room to expand. No, they can all be 10. You can't grade your children. Oh, my middle child, she's an 8, so I can give my next child a 10. Fuck that. All of them 10. My children 10, shows 10. Boom. You're up.
All right, I'm up. All right, let's start with Family Ties beginning. Wonderful. They did that beautifully, literally. They mixed in like some, I don't know what other talk show they mixed in there, but I know the beginning was Family Ties, and it had a few other shows sprinkled in there. And I was Growing Pains. That's what it was. Growing Pains. It was Family Ties and Growing Pains. He was doing like a lot of the characters from Growing Pains. I loved all the info that we were getting. I'm just gonna start off by saying I loved Evan Peters' little 30-second cameo. Loved it. I mean, that's gonna be dope. I'm loving how the kids is just growing up. Like they basically, we already know that there's something's going on with them. I believe Nick was telling us, and Carlos was preparing us, but Nick was like hyping us up. Yeah, they're controlling everything pretty much themselves, and they're like, "Hey, oh girl, you got daddy walking around dead. Why can't you just pick up that dog too?" Like, I feel like the kids see it too. You know what I mean? The kids are just small, so they have an imagination. It's crazy, right? I love the song. Got changed. The song in the beginning was like, "I'm looking for Jean Grey." You know what I mean? Like it was a lot of X-Men references in there. The little song that she sings. I'll find it. I don't have it now, but it's like right before she sees Pietro, it's a little song that starts playing, and it literally has a bunch of like X-Men characters like in the song subliminally. So it's definitely a nice hint of that. Um, I think the director guy, like Manny was saying, it's funny. Like he's a real terrorist. And I don't know if you guys remember in X-Men 1, if you guys are fans of any of the Fox series, I'm sure you guys are not because a lot of people aren't. When Magneto gets confronted by police officers or like the special unit, they point weapons at him just like they did to Wanda and Magneto. Since he's not a telekinesis, since he's a metal bender, like metal, he points all the guns back at the director that's got it at him. So it's the same scene, like it's the identical scene. I loved
I
the
did
Max.
realize that.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't, Nick. You
No, I
hate,
didn't.
you hate Fox.
I thought
You
about
hate
that last
Fox.
night, and I forgot about it when I rewatched it this morning.
Yo, it was X-Men. Like it was like a corny X-Men Fox movie, but I loved it. I loved it. I'm gonna wrap it up because I know we on time. I love the Maximoff anomaly. So we already got a name for what's happening, or a scientific name. It's called a Maximoff anomaly. I'm sorry about that. I'm getting tongue twisted. I love that. Let me see my notes if I have anything else. Oh, big one. This one's for Carlos because he's always talking about this. When they're reading the newspaper with Agnes there, she has a newspaper, and the newspaper is folded, and it says House of M, HOM.
I didn't see that. Nice.
And the news. So when you watch the scene, I had to
I was
watch.
gonna leave that. Dude,
Yeah,
you caught it. You caught it. I was gonna leave that at the end, but now you brought it up, you caught it, man. Yes.
Hey, listen, she's drinking blood, like she's drinking literal like blood, like some thick blood. Like Manny said, I'm sorry guys, it has to be Mephisto something going on. Like she's straight out of the comic book, that older lady, I forgot her name,
Agnes
Hawkins or something like that, or
Harkness.
Yes. Boom.
Agatha Harkness.
And I also want to share while we're here that this is not my theory or anything, but each commercial is an Infinity Stone, I heard. So their power is the toaster, and they're like the bubble bath was like the blue stone. There was
it was a cosmic cube.
Yeah, you know it. I heard that. I like that. I like so subconsciously humans are always like looking for them too. Like we're obsessed with them. So we're like subconsciously making commercials. Super dope. Sorry, too much info. I'll pass it on to Manny so we can get on to the next part.
No, you all hit it right on the spot, on the money. The only thing I'm surprised that I didn't hear from any of you guys is the fact that whenever Wanda came out of the whole dome and threatened everybody and says, "You leave me alone, I leave you alone," all that stuff. As soon as she went back in, I was like, "Oh, well, here come the credits." And nope, it's still going. This was not a 20-minute episode. This was 30 something, 34.
41.
And she changed it. She changed when she went back in. She changed the anatomy of whatever's blocking it. So if it was like a happy blue now it's a mean red, because I know like it's changed. It changed.
No, basically, I'm just like, I was so happy to be like, well, because I paused it. I was like, oh my God, it's not done. They were looking for Sparky. I don't give a shit about Sparky. I paused it, and it still had like another 10 minutes to go. I was like, holy shit, this is a long episode. So I was very excited about that. But now,
I love that they're doing exactly what Nick said. The kids are gonna be like OP powerful. Like they are literally going to do that. It's literally happening. They're like, don't grow up, don't grow up, don't grow up. What you mean? We can go. I'm thinking in my head, they can even turn themselves into babies if they want. Like at this point, they can do whatever they want. Like,
and that's a perfect segue to what I was going to say. This is part 2 now. We're going to do our possible theories that we all have. I don't really have any theories. I think that, like Nick said earlier, is the kids, are they going to grow up? But I'm wondering, do you think that they'll take it to that step where they're going to become Speed and Wiccan? Who knows? Like maybe that'll be something for another show. Like they'll leave it open-ended for the future, but they might not hit it here. That might be a possibility. And then the whole Agnes thing, I read something about how she's trying to push Wanda more and to use her powers more and more, and even to resurrect the dead, not just Vision, which is a machine, but to actual dead, which is Sparky. And basically leading back to, I had a conversation with my wife as soon as the show ended. She, every time the show ends, she's like, oh, I'm so sad like that. I feel so bad for Wanda. She really is very empathetic towards Wanda, and it is sad. And I told her, like, no, Wanda is a villain here. She knows exactly what she's doing, and she's still continuing. Now she's even said it. But then when she said, there's no way that I can be controlling everything, dentist appointments, making sure everybody goes to school on time. and then the doorbell rings, I think that's like she is controlling a majority of it. But I think Mephisto, sorry, once again, I'm sorry, but I think Mephisto, anytime that Wanda is going back to reality and maybe to that final stage of acceptance, anytime she's about to hit that, Mephisto comes in and just gives her another push, gives her another push. And then this time it was, hey, here's Pietro. Check him out. Aren't you sad? Aren't you happy to see Pietro? Aren't you so great? So I think Mephisto is having a hand in it, but in the end of it, it's Wanda, and she's choosing not to do the right thing. She sees the right path, and she's choosing not to go down it. But I don't have any. I don't have any like possible theories of what's going to happen next episode or after that. But what about you, Carlos?
So I think that you hit it exactly on, on the nail when it comes to Mephisto. And going a little bit further, I think that why Mephisto is involved in this and why he is, I think, a villain, but maybe not necessarily the villain, is that, like you mentioned, when Wanda says that there's no way that she can be controlling all of this, and she even mentions, that she doesn't really know what's going on, but she does have some, yeah, but she does have some, control. Obviously, when she walks out of the dome and she goes back in, you see the dome turn to red. So it's Wanda no longer hiding, right? But this idea that she doesn't, fully understand what's happening. I think that the way that Mephisto's involved in this is that with the grief that she's having, because that's one of the big a big focus of what's going on with Wanda, why she's doing this. We need to remember that Mephisto lives off of that. That's where he derives his power, his energy. That's why he does deals with, a bunch of different, heroes, people, is because he wants to take possession of that happiness that people have, that thing that makes them have hope. And I think that he's involved in this because the massive trauma and grief that Wanda is having is something that he sensed and something that he is feeding on. And I think that that's how he's going to be involved in what's happening. A theory that I have for how Pietro is there is that when Wanda mentions to the twins, and when she says when they're babies that she had a brother, and then she tells them as they're older that he's far away now. I think that the kids, since they were manifested using Wanda's powers, clearly we know that they have a portion of her powers. I think that for them, they're noticing the grief that she has, and because they can tell that Vision is dead, I think that they ripped Evan Peters Pietro from the Fox Universe X-Men, and they brought him into this universe because we can clearly see that Wanda is super surprised when she opens that door. She's not expecting it. She says, that she didn't cause the doorbell, and I think Pietro being here is a result of the kids pulling, or at least Wiccan using his power to rip him off and bring him into this universe.
When she tells them, I had a brother, but he's far away right now.
Exactly.
And the Jit's like, you know what? Bring Uncle here, bro.
Exactly. And because Wiccan is, a kid, he ends up using his powers without having full control of them to pull out Evan Peters Pietro, and that's why we have the Quicksilver Pietro that we have now. One last quick little.
So what you're saying is Michael Fassbender's in the car waiting? We're gonna see him next episode.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
Yo, dog. I would shit myself. I swear, Michael Fassbender.
I hope so. And the way I still keep thinking the way that the X-Men are going to be brought into this universe is because they're going to be on a mission, like I said a while back, to get Evan Peters back to find out where he went. If it ends up being that the X-Men aren't hiding in plain sight and Professor X is shielding them from the overall general population. So that's one theory. Another quick little theory that I have too is that I have to touch on Monica Rambeau when she mentions that she knows an aerospace engineer. She gets on the phone. It doesn't go anywhere. It interrupts. There's no way that's not leading into something. I personally think that opens up the door for,
Ant-Man.
huh?
I think Ant-Man.
I don't think it's gonna open up to Ant-Man because because it's an aerospace engineer and it has to do with like space and all of that. I personally think that it opens up the door for Mr. Fantastic or for Adam Brashear, Blue Marvel. That's what I think, and that
But
would
they,
be
but they need
Wow. I
they
forgot.
need
Wow.
protons and neutrons. I was thinking like it'll be perfect, like the Michael Douglas or somebody like that, because they said they need a train full of protons and neutrons to hit
Blue
that thing.
Marvel. Blue Marvel. I think
You
I
know.
think I think that could be an opening for them to bring in Blue Marvel into his universe, and Blue Marvel has huge ties to Captain
Marvel.
Photon, Captain Marvel. That's my theory.
Can
Yeah.
and I'm sorry if I'm taking anybody's time, but can you elaborate who Blue Marvel is? I have no idea who that character is.
And I was gonna say, Reed Richards isn't a aerospace engineer. He's not a space engineer.
No, I'm saying that it could be him or it could be Blue Marvel. So basically, Adam Brashear, he is a hero that the world kind of ended up forgetting about him. But he is an extremely intelligent individual, like Mr. Fantastic, and his specialty is in space, engineering, all of that stuff. And he ends up forming in the newer version of the Ultimates a really big friendship with Captain Marvel, Photon. But yeah, he's cool. He's cool. I think that he is gonna be the person that she was gonna
It would
reach
be
out to.
dope if they brought him in during Black History Month.
It would be super cool. Like I think that that'd be like amazing. And what's specifically cool about him is that he also plays into this idea of the cosmic universe. And if we do bring in Galactus, he has a lot to do with Galactus recently. So
He's kind of like Marvel's like Superman. Like
yeah, kind of.
that's how I like to picture him. He's
What
like
he
that.
can do, well, yeah, his power is basically antimatter manipulation.
Okay.
But he like represents. He's like that golden age hero that was forgotten because of who he is and what he represented. But like
Yep.
he has a big cape, like oh, that's how I always pictured him when I started reading about him. Are we up to me?
Nick,
Yeah,
go.
Nick, you
All right, I got stuff to say.
you just ate 2 minutes of your time, Nick. Sorry. On to the next.
All right, so my theory is um first of the recast screwed me up. I really thought that was gonna be Speed, but it wasn't. But my theory here is I know I've talked shit about Mephisto, but who's the neighbor that's been hanging out with them this whole episode?
Agnes.
Agnes.
I think she is Mephisto.
Okay.
What about Dottie?
What?
Dottie, Agnes did say, Dottie is in charge of everything in this town. Like,
No,
The
but
blonde hair.
she's like
Blonde-
walking around in the house and seeing all the shit going down, and she's not surprised. She's not saying anything. She's like, when she brings over the dead puppy, she's like, "You could do that." Like she's
And then
just
she's
playing
like,
it
"Should we
in.
redo the scene? Should we redo the scene? Should we redo the scene?"
Yeah.
She's like, she's not surprised. She's like talking like this is like nothing. Like I feel like she strolled in and she's like kind of shows up randomly. Like if Mephisto's gonna be in the show, I think Mephisto is her in disguise, and he's just going around causing all these problems. Because whenever something goes down, she shows up. Whenever something's about to happen, she's right there.
Right. The neighbor was glitching out, cutting the thing, and she like rolled by her bike. You're right on that, Nick.
She was like, "Shut up, don't say anything."
She's
Yeah,
always
it's
there.
like
I
she's
think
shutting
that
up.
she's Mephisto, and she's pushing her like Wanda's powers. My
So
other theory
I like
is
that. You notice that she's silencing everyone. I'm a note that one, Nick. That's a good one.
another.
That's
The
a good
other
one.
theory I have is that because they're not gonna stop trying to figure out what's going on the outside, that one is gonna have to come out again, or Monica is gonna go in, and so there's gonna be some kind of fight, and that's how she becomes. I don't know if she's gonna become Photon or one of her other names that she's had over the years, or if she becomes, because she was the second Captain Marvel. If she becomes, because when you bring up Captain Marvel, she gets all mad. She gets all pissed off. Like, did she become second Captain Marvel? Because she, in the comics, was the second Captain Marvel. So, that could be a thing. And my other thing is that I think that with Pietro back, that does open up the door for Magneto. I don't know if it will be Michael Fassbender. I would love it to be. But it opens up the door that could be a possibility. But now that if the kids are the ones that brought him back, which I don't think so, I think it's more Mephisto. Like, I don't want to agree with you guys, but this episode really hit those like keynotes that if she's like, it's her powers doing all this, but she's not in control of it. He's the button pusher.
Yeah.
House of M. House of M.
But I think that now, Wiccan has been using his powers to speed them up.
Yep.
And we haven't seen Speed do anything, but now that he's back, because I knew that these kids were gonna be growing up fast, because this week they released the newest issue of X Factor, and the first intro story in that book before the even opening panel was Speed. Speed was in that book, and I haven't seen Speed in an X-Men book since how House and Power started. I haven't seen Speed at all, and all of a sudden, Speed's in the front with Prodigy, and he goes up to freaking North Star, and they're having this whole talk about being speedsters. I think that he's gonna become Speed, and he's gonna learn his powers from Pietro.
Nice.
That's all I gotta say.
I like that.
Well, let me just put all you guys to rest. This Pietro, right? It's fucking a guy from the town. They've just casted Evans Peters just to fucking throw everyone off
But
and
he
have
says,
everyone.
"Hey, this is how you're gonna treat your long lost brother."
He's in the town. She's imagining him. He's just another person controlled. I can bank on that. I will bank on that.
Such a letdown.
No,
All
that's
right.
possible, because
It's not going to be a
they even said
letdown.
that the kids were real, so he could easily be real, because Vision's dead and walking around with his own conscience. The kids were created out of thin air, and I have no reason to doubt that that's actually an alternate reality alternate reality Pietro brought to life. God knows
If
how.
it is, then you're going to fucking recast. You have to recast all of X-Men. You have to recast all
They've
those
already
people.
done it once.
Please.
It makes no sense. And if you're fucking recasting them and Sophie Turner's going to be fucking Phoenix, then fuck off. I ain't watching it. I can tell you now, because she's a fucking woeful actress and is fucking shit. Forgive my language, right? But I'm getting fired up because I don't. The original, Halle Berry and all them, yeah, bring them in 100%. But the fucking next reboot, guys, that was shit. I'm sorry, but that was shit. Besides,
Evan Peters.
What's the blue guy? The fucking not Mistake, but the one that
Nightcrawler?
teleports. Nightcrawler. No, the only good one.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, it's just a fan pop. It's just a Easter egg, like you were saying, with all the guns pointing. It's just a fan thing. I don't think they're going to go anywhere with this, to be honest. As for the kids, I reckon it's her. When she said, "Oh, don't age," I reckon it's her. It's not the kids. I reckon they're just throwing Marvel like, fuck it. By this time, at the point of episode 5, everyone's gonna have their theories. Everyone's gonna be doing this. So let's just turn it right around on them. Let's give them all the fishing. Woo! Just fish out the bait. Let them bite. And then, mate, I'm telling you, it's gonna be the complete opposite to what we all feel and think. Sorry. What's her name? Wanda is going to be the villain. I'm telling you now, Wanda's going to be the villain of the next phase. She knows what she's fucking doing. All right, she knows what she's doing. She took that body. I reckon she did take the body, but originally she took the body because she realized that she could bring him back to life. She realized she had those
So,
powers.
I just want to say, I'm sorry, Matt. I just want to say before I forget, I love how it's the living will says do not resuscitate, but the living will doesn't say don't be chopped up and experimented on.
Yeah. But that's the thing. She's brought him back. She knows what she's doing. She's going to be a villain. I think she's working alongside Mephisto. She's made a deal with Mephisto. I'll bring everything back for you in real life. You need to fucking join me. She's joining Mephisto, and her and Mephisto, she ain't brainwashed. Everyone's saying she's brainwashed by Mephisto. She ain't brainwashed. She's walking alongside. They're going to turn her into a baddie. She was originally a bad person. Don't forget that.
Not really. She
Did
just
you
wants-
hear her
fucking bad.
accent when she walked out of the
Hey,
dome?
Matt sounds like the director right now when he's on the briefing, and we're just a bunch of Jimmy Choos. Like, what's going on here? What's going
She
on?
was the bad. She was originally a bad.
Oh,
She controlled their brains. She
wanted to
She was
kill-
a former Avenger.
just wanted to kill
Yeah, but
Tony.
even in the comics, she starts off as a member of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So
He did.
she's a bad. She can
Hey,
continue
those
to be a
mutants
baddie.
did a lot of good for people. I'll tell you that.
Well, it's just all I'm saying is that it's everything this show has taught us is that.
Hold on, Nick. Is that what she's gonna start after the show?
oh my
Damn!
god, she starts the Brotherhood
Nah,
of Evil
yo,
Mutants.
you called it. Yo, she's gonna start the bruh.
Gonna be
Pietro's
bad.
back.
She's
It's
gonna be a baddie.
possible. I would
Gonna
love
be
to
a
see
baddie.
Blob in the MCU. Blob
Yo.
and
Carlo-
Toad.
My man, what do you got, buddy?
Carlo.
Oh, that's me. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
me.
that's you, mate.
All right, so I'm gonna
Yo,
tell
you blending in with the background.
So Dottie is Mephisto. Mephisto. You know why? Because when she cut her hand, she was bleeding like red blood, not black and white, because she's like in control, or she's in
I
disguise.
feel like it was a trigger.
And he hasn't been mentioned again. Why? Because he's doing evil stuff in the background. Agnes, I believe she is like mentoring Scarlet Witch, because in the comic books, she has this older witch lady with gray hair, like teaching her like witchery and witchcraft or whatever. So, and I know like in the TV shows and the movies, they make people younger and stuff to be cooler or whatever. So I think that's that. Director Hayward, I don't care if he's a villain because I'm not invested in him. He's just like in the background. He's just like noise. Like I don't care if he's a villain. I don't care if he's a good guy. Like he's like whatever. Also for yeah, Mephisto's Dottie. Oh yeah, and Photon. That's for Black History Month, and she's badass. And yeah, she didn't want her blood tested because she knows it's either Wanda gave her the powers because she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I had to throw you out. I know you're cool, but you pissed me off. But here's some powers, or whatever. And the reason I think she's mad at Captain Marvel is because she's out saving the universe, but she couldn't stay back and help her mom who was dying. Like you're like a god with all this magic powers and stuff, and you couldn't help my mom. Screw Captain Marvel. So I'll be the same way. I feel you, Photon. Yeah, that's it. Who's up?
I'm up. Basically, I'll keep it short and sweet. My theories are basically that Disney is going to be using WandaVision, just like we have those comics that retcon everything, and like how we have that one hero like Franklin Richard, and he just changes everything, and now all we know the next comic run after that, everything is like back to normal, and it's all new comic runs. I'm thinking that's what the excuse is going to be with WandaVision. It doesn't have to be that you like it or you don't like it. It's a good way to introduce everything. So I think everything that we've been talking about as a whole will be happening. X-Men, everybody's coming in because it's just the easiest way to retcon it without saying, hey, we just threw these guys in. It's what you would do in a comic book, so why treat it differently? So I'm thinking my theories are we're going to see a bunch of like expansions. I mean, come on, we saw House of M already. Nick just mentioned the Brotherhood. I mean, that it's endless possibilities at this point. So I'm really thinking this is a retcon show, and everything is going to be mixed in, so we can get introductions to a bunch of other stuff. So I'll just keep it it as that for my theory because the show because I mean we're seeing an X-Men guy, so as we're progressing, we're retconning more and more stuff. Like, all right, X-Men, that doesn't matter. Fox doesn't matter no more. We got them in our universe now. So let's see where it goes. I'm liking it though. That's my theory that everything that we've been discussing the past few episodes and agreeing is just coming in. But I'll pass it back to Manny and let's go.
But so you guys reminded me. I forgot to mention earlier. Monica not being hurt. I'm so happy that she said like, Wanda protected me when she threw me out. She didn't have to do that. That just it's just for me. Honestly, that helped me out. Like the fact that she didn't die, getting thrown out such a distance and
And
stuff.
she's not broken like how we were mentioning.
Exactly.
Because that bugged you, right?
Yeah, so like that little line, I loved it. For me, I was like, oh, you were listening to me, thank you. Just a throwaway line, Monica or Wanda protected me, and that's it. And another thing that she did confirm was the kids are hers. She's saying that it's not a illusion; it's confirmed reality. The kids are definitely hers. I birthed them. I was there. They're her kids. So that's another question that was just answered. But I'm liking all of these theories a lot. Like they're getting me excited. And they're just making me have more questions, which is we're in part 3 now, which is the question/group discussion of anything. We do have someone in the chat, Mess Comics. Who do you think will be the cameo they are hinting at? Doctor Strange, Hawkeye. I thought Evan Peters.
Professor X.
But there's one more. There's one more coming. There's a big one coming, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, because
both actors said they've been hanging to have a scene with this person. So
yeah,
it's
Paul
the guy
Bettany.
from Professor X,
so,
mate.
Personally, I think that I really still think that it's gonna be Professor X. I don't see this not. I mean, dude, it has to be Professor X. It has to be Professor
You
X.
can't have the X-Men without Professor X, and he's the world's most powerful besides Jean.
Let me just ask this: which Professor X now?
Oh, definitely. Oh shit. You know what? Because of the way that
the guy from Split, because he said, what's his name? Said he hasn't worked with them. He worked with him in Da Vinci Code.
Exactly. So I
reckon it's the guy from Split.
Damn, young, like 30, 40-year-old Xavier.
You know what?
because it's in the future. Aren't we in the future now?
No.
Well, because I mean, you can pull Professor X from like any, like timeline, but I personally think that because of this idea that we're gonna be, having a bunch of different universes, a bunch of different like the multiverse is basically gonna be confirmed. I think that Evan Peters is definitely from the First Class era, and I think that the Professor X that we're gonna get is going to be Patrick Stewart's Professor X. Because
I would love that.
Because if you listen to, I mean, if you just read the way that Paul Bettany describes working with this actor, right? The type of respect that you feel that he's given to this actor. I mean, dude, it's Patrick Stewart. Not that James McAvoy is not an amazing actor. I fucking love him. And
I need you to say Sir Patrick Stewart. I need you to show that respect. All right.
Sir Patrick Stewart. Exactly. That's why. Sir Patrick Stewart. And I love James McAvoy. I'd lose it if he also shows up. But I think that it'd be something special if it's that kind of, if it's that Professor X. Because, dude, he's older. He's experienced. And how special would a scene be where, like in Avengers and right before House of M happens, when he shows up and he's there to help Wanda through her grief, right? The weight that I think you would feel from a scene of Patrick Stewart showing up and trying to, piece back together, Wanda when she's falling apart. I think the weight of that scene would be fucking magical and it'd be beautiful.
You're talking about the scene when he's in a wheelchair and everything's falling apart and he's like, Wanda, we talked about this. There's no one in the room besides you and me. There's no kids, nobody. And she's like falling apart, like she's falling stuff apart. Like
exactly.
I think
real quick, because we got me see D Comics that
Definitely.
asked that question is just saying here, Sir Patrick Stewart and Sir Ian McKellen are pretty old. Maybe one scene, then the younger actors for the movies.
I don't think that's gonna work. I'm thinking younger actors. I was gonna just say that. How many
I
movies
feel
can they
like
pump out?
we need to have an established, older, more experienced Professor X to bring in an experience. Because I feel like we need. I don't know if we want to start from ground up again. I want them to come in with it like an established team and then explain where they were. And like if you have like this established, experienced Professor X, he'd actually be able to help Wanda instead of like a Professor X that hasn't been through all this shit wouldn't exactly know how to help her.
Sir Patrick Stewart comes in the wheelchair just like he did with Jean Grey, and he comes and talks to Wanda, blah blah. Something happens, maybe Mephisto starts some shit. Who knows? Sir Patrick Stewart gets stabbed in the heart. I don't know. Something he's about to die, and then they revert him back to his younger age. Boom! Here's James McAvoy.
Or
Exactly. That's complicated.
there's plenty of really good, important storylines where Professor X dies.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
that, they could usually use him to introduce the X-Men, and then do like one film with him, and then then have him die, and be like that's the running off point. You know, where Jean and Cyclops and Wolverine are fighting on who's going to take over the Institute, because they have all. It's been the Jean Grey Institute. It's been Wolverine's Institute. Like they've all run the Institute one way or another. So there's so many storylines. They only need him for one movie just to establish it as a new franchise and put it in the MCU. I feel like Sir Patrick Stewart is necessary to establish that because he's the perfect representation of the original and the current comic Professor Xavier. There's no one that looks or explain. It's like when they use what's his name as
Samuel L. Jackson as
Samuel
Nick Fury.
Jackson. He is the perfect ultimate Nick Fury because Nick Fury was based off of him when they did the Ultimates.
I just want them to recast all the X-Men. I don't want anyone
I'm
from
okay
fucking
with that.
movie.
I just think that they just
I want
need
Taron.
him.
I want Taron Egerton as fucking Wolverine.
No, man, no.
Out of here.
No, man. No, man.
I do want to say thank you to Meta Comics for coming in and asking these questions because it really gets us on a good roll. They are the creators of this comic here, which was a really good comic. So unfortunately, I only have volume 1 and 2, and I don't know if they have a volume 3, but if they did, I need to get to it because it's kind of a cliffhanger. But
I don't think Carlos liked that answer. He's gone.
he didn't like Taron Egerton. I love Taron Egerton. Don't get me wrong. I love him in Kingsman. I love him.
He's killer.
He's a great actor, but he's not a Wolverine, man.
I reckon he could be.
I don't know.
If you want Wolverine, just go with your twin, Tom Hardy.
Yeah, but he's in the Venom, and they're gonna bring Venom into the Venom universe. It's just they
That's
screwed all that up.
No. Do you guys have any other questions, either in the chat or you guys in general? Because I'm not questions. I've asked everything that I can think of.
Me too, boy. I already got the Brotherhood theory going with Nick. I like that. Like, let's see where it goes.
The one thing we didn't touch on that I think we need to talk about in the show in general and like for possible theories is what's the guy that works with Vision?
Jordan? No.
Norm. When he snaps out of it and he's like I'm in pain, I'm suffering. So that means that all these people are being forced to sit there and watch all this stuff, or their bodies act like puppets, freaking out and doing all crazy stuff, and they're physically in pain, suffering, worrying about their families, freaking out in the back of their head like they're in a coma, like suffering. Like that's a little like messed up. Like I didn't realize. Like I kind of thought that that's what that these people were being brainwashed and just living this like weird reality where they're mind wiped. But I didn't ever think that they would be physically in pain and freaking out like that.
And then that goes back to Agnes not being in that state. Agnes is just aware, but she's not showing
Right.
like, oh, I'm in pain, I'm in anything.
No, she knows what's going on at this point. She's seen the kids grow multiple times. She's like, instead when like you could bring people back to life, she's not questioning like, what do you mean? She's like, you could do that. Like she already knows that she has abilities and already knows she's like she gets it. Like the I just think that that aspect is something for the theories that we need to touch on. Like, how is them being in pain and shit going to affect? Because you know, I don't
You're
think she
gonna get a
realizes
bunch
that
of.
she's hurting them.
It's gonna be like the boys. You know, you're gonna have those people that don't sympathize with superheroes anymore. So they're gonna be like cape haters or whatever. They hate soups and stuff. So I think they're developing like a revolution against
Ooh,
superheroes.
you know
Oh,
what's
so
a
that's
good
that's the X-Men.
that's
The
a
X-Men.
good theory because all those anti X-Men groups. I can't think of one of them on the top of my head,
Boom.
but
Nick, you started a good convo. That's what it's gonna be. Literally,
that's got to be because
that's what it
the
is.
repercussions of what she's doing here, even if it's not intentional, are gonna have super big impact. That's what I think that this show is gonna bring in. I know everyone's saying it's leading into Doctor Strange, but I think this is gonna lead us down the way of mutants, but also gonna bring that mutant hate into the MCU
Yeah, yeah.
because of what
So
she
this
does
is where
here.
you see Sentinels. This is how you get to see
So
Sentinels
like in
get
the
created.
comics when Initiative happened and Civil War, people started to hate heroes because of what happened in Stamford, Connecticut with that explosion. How they were filming the TV show and they tried to take down these people, and because they were being heroes, they caused all these people to die.
So
This
we can expect,
that
yeah,
event,
we
this location, this happening is gonna have major repercussions for how humans view mutants and superheroes post this phase.
Endgame, like
Yeah,
after Endgame.
like
What I'm thinking is exactly what you said is referencing back to those guys that are hurt and being controlled humans or that hate mutants. It's basically we can expect to see a lot of stuff that happened in WandaVision, the way we're seeing flashbacks on TV from different events and how they're mentioning like, oh, what happened with Ultron, what happened with Thanos. All this hatred and all these groups that are going to be forming are going to be referencing what Wanda has been doing or what Wanda did and what that caused. So I think, Nick, you're onto a right path there. And I think it's going to lead to those anti-mutant groups. So, I mean, there's a lot right. I guess this is why Wanda is going to be so popular for them because they'll be able to nitpick whatever they want from it. Good point. Very nice point, Nick.
I think Carlos had to have something happen with his computer, I guess, but he's got some final points that he wants to
Yeah, sorry. It was Mephisto. There was a weird blackout.
Disney blocked
my-
you.
on
Disney
my
blocked
spot.
you.
Dude,
I thought it was because
this-
you didn't like my theory of Egerton being Wolverine, but anyway, I'll take that. It was a blackout.
I know. As
no,
soon as Matt started talking, you clicked, man, and I was like, rude.
I want to hear later. But it was Mephisto. Just some quick, just some quick straight thoughts before we get into a rating. I love Jimmy Woo. I just want to throw that out there. I love Jimmy Woo. I love Darcy. I think they're both amazing. The beginning scenes of him getting Darcy her coffee that no one ever gets her, and just how happy he was to get her that coffee. Fucking loved it, dude. He's the best. I just wanted to point that out that was just amazing. Also,
If I ever get roped up by any feds, I want to get roped up by him. I'm gonna just say
Yes.
that.
easily, he has to be my favorite thing.
I'm snitching on everyone. I'm
so-
snitching on everyone.
Dude, like I love it. Also, I just want to point out that at this point, I'd be perfectly fine with us having a show that just is dedicated to Jimmy and Darcy, and throw in, Monica, and all that they do is literally go out and just almost like a newer version of Agents of Shield, but because
And then
Agents of
somebody said X Files, right?
yeah, or like X-Files, because originally
That's cool.
Agents of Shield was supposed to be this team of ordinary humans that go out and they investigate supernatural, like activities that could be caused by some sort of, superhero or metahuman, whatever. And then it turned into something completely different. But I'd love to see just a show where Jimmy Woo and Darcy team up, and they just go around the Marvel universe solving cases, whatever. Those are my final thoughts on that.
Perfect. And so that brings us into part 4, the final thing, just our ratings. And like you guys know me, I'm easy, like Matt says, and it's a perfect 10. I was in this show every single minute. I loved it. It's a 9.99997. If that makes you happier, Matt.
Dude, I'm easy. 10 to 10. It's a 10. It's a 10.
Shit, after bloody.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5 because I have a feeling they're gonna really rock our socks as this comes.
I had it at a 7.5 last week. I was bumping it up to an 8. But after bloody Carlo's rant, shit, I think I might do a 10 or I might bloody get a pop cap in my ass or something,
way.
mate.
You're not gonna go for a 10.
I'm gonna have to, nah. I'm actually, I know I said I was gonna go to an 8 in our DM, but I'm gonna stick it at a 7.5. I'm gonna stick it there because, like Nick's saying, I want to give the season finale a perfect 10 out of 10. Don't get me wrong, the last 2 weeks, 10 out of 10 are great. They're great. But like I said, my reviews, comics, whatever, I like to give them some room to breathe. We'll say 7.75. No, we'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8.
It deserves a solid 8, man. It deserves a
Solid
solid
8.
8. Solid 8.
I'll give it a solid 8.
Happy with that.
Carlo?
Well, shit, we know what yours is. I'm
Carlo already said it's a 10.
Okay, I meant to say 9.75. I just got caught up in the hype, and I was excited, and I was throwing 10s everywhere. Yeah, I
You get a car. Oprah, calling you Oprah now.
The only thing that could have made it a 10 was like and the next cameo showing up. So to answer that question, I think the next cameo is going to be Mr. Fantastic 4 or Deadpool. You know why? Because they have this big ass budget and this show is full of surprises and like
Ryan Reynolds shows up.
So,
Oh, I'm wrong set, guys. Wrong set. He just walked off.
yeah,
him and his version of Colossus. We got to get his version of Colossus.
He's good. That's a good guy. And I like it. It would be a good team up between the new mutants. What's Colossus' sister name? Magic.
Oh,
I like
that. What if it's not Mephisto?
I like.
What if it's not Mephisto and it's Magic?
What if it's Magic? Oh,
nah, more theories, man.
Hey, I guess leave that theory for next week. Let's see what it's like, man.
Yes.
New mutants involved now and shit. Damn, we didn't think of that one.
No. Your rating. What do you got?
Me? Yeah, I'm gonna give it an honest 5 out of. And I'm joking. I'm doing 8 out of 10.
All right.
8 out of 10 is 8 out of 10 is solid, guys.
Solid.
I want to give it an 8.59. I'm gonna be honest. I want to give it higher, but I wanted to build up because my grading started low. I was at I think a 4 or something. So
yeah,
how this episode could have been a 10 for me is if they included Pietro. As he said that, he runs into the house and starts running around like picking things up and saying hi to everybody.
Picks up the kids like slow motion.
Because if you showed the power, I would have been, all right, we're done. This is awesome.
All right. Well,
and then the kid like, I can do that too, Uncle. And he starts running.
I have been keeping track of your scores. And if my math is correct, and if I know how to do averages and all that stuff, I'm getting 10 out of 10. So that's great. That's good to hear. Yep.
What? That's fucking money. Okay. Next guy, mate, it'd be a fucking 9, an 8.467.
Carlos is throwing off the score. He's giving a 10 out of 10 every week. Come on, man.
And aren't you a teacher? So if you're a teacher, I might come over to fucking America and become a teacher. It looks like if anyone to be a teacher, mate.
I'm just a computer science major, man. So don't question my math. That's 10. No, but to wrap it up, thank you everybody for joining. That's it. That's episode 5. It was a great episode. It's like you said, 9 point something average. we'll be here next week. And let me remind you again, follow us here on Twitch to watch our show live. If you are watching on YouTube or listening on a podcast, uh, go to Twitch and follow us live. You're going to see all sorts of things. But thank you for following us on YouTube and on Spotify, Apple, Google, all that stuff. Right now, we are about to do a comic book review as well. We're going to go over future state titles, King in Black, and maybe DC style. We're going to stop this stream and start another one. So for our viewers right now, if you guys want to watch that, please join us. Throw whatever you want in the comments. We'll read them and see what we have to say about that. But other than that, thank you guys for joining us. See you next time. See you next week. All right. What's going on, everybody? 1 month later here. We're back with an actual comic book review. It's been about a month, 1 month later. So we're going to talk about future state titles here. Nick and Nuno have both done an absolute huge amount of research that I had no intention of doing ever. so I'm very happy that they did it. And then after that, we're going to talk about a little bit of Deceased. Now that it's finished, Tom Taylor did an amazing job on it. Let me take this chance to say, please follow on Twitch. If you can't follow us live or tune in live, you can always catch us on YouTube or on podcasts in Spotify, Apple, Google, Anchor, all that stuff. So go like, subscribe to all those things, please. Other than that, without further ado, Nick, take us away
All
with
right.
the future state.
So January and February have been the future state months, where all the DC comic book titles, most of them have completely stopped, and we're getting a glimpse in the potential possible futures on this weird new timeline of the DC universe. So there's about probably 20 to 25 titles, but they basically break down into several different plot lines and shared reoccurring events. So the biggest one, which happens in like a 5 to 6 year time gap, is the Gotham stories featuring the Magistrate, which at the end of the current Batman run, we have a new mayor who's just elected out of the events of Joker War. So he has instituted this privatized police force called the Magistrate, and they've caused a bunch of problems for Gotham. And all these different titles have involved between the next Batman, Nightwing, Dark Detective, Catwoman, Robin Eternal, and Harley Quinn. All these books have dealt with the same problem, which is the magistrate and this no mask rule and this, this world that thinks Batman's dead. There's side stories in the Batman and Dark Detective stories with grifters, Red Hood, Outsiders, Arkham Knights, Batgirls, and Gotham City Sirens. Um, the earliest timeline issue we have is the Batman and Superman books, which happen right after the current Batman run leads into Future State. So, Magistrate has just been instituted, and it kind of explains how it gets to its point. Um, at the same time, in this 6 year gap, um, we don't know where Superman really is, but we will. We're only one issue into Superman Worlds of War, which is going to say where he is at that time span. We also have for the first 2 issues, the only 2 issues I think of Superman Son of Metropolis, which a bunch of books in this event reference uh, Jonathan Kent putting Metropolis in the dome. That event is chronicled in these 2 issues. You also get Kar-Zor-El Superwoman that happens at the tail end of that 5 to 6 year event of the Magistrate and the stuff happening with Superboy, well, Superman now. Um, you then also have 2 more issues that happen with Suicide Squad happening at the tail end of all the Magistrate stuff. This is a weird Justice League, which is organized by Amanda Waller. You have villains like the Talon pretending to be Batman, and you have a whole bunch of stuff. Clayface is the Martian Manhunter, and you don't have Jonathan Kent, you have Connor Kent. So you get to see where Connor is in this whole future state thing, and the actual Suicide Squad is going after them. The other title that's happening after all after all the Magistrate stuff and the Superman stuff ends is Justice League. This is probably 8 years after the start of the Magistrate thing. You have the current next Batman, current Wonder Woman. You have a new Flash. You have a female Aquawoman, and you have the Green Lantern from Far Sector. Um, and that is your Justice League. And this happens in a world where there's not a lot of villains, not crime is on a very low thing. This Justice League has really saved the world and kept it safe. And they literally say that this Batman did what Bruce Wayne couldn't, and he saved Gotham. So you know that in these books, it's gonna lead to next Batman and Nightwing saving Gotham. It's really interesting what's going on in this timeline and all the different things, how they all tie in to like why is Batman dead? How do we do this without Batman? This new Batman, Nightwing leading a resistance and all this stuff, all these characters, and I know that at the end of it, they're all going to work together to save it. And I'll let Nuno before I talk about the last two titles that are a part of this. Nuno, you want to talk about some of the timeline stuff you got?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna go off of some of the timeline that I've been working on, but of course DC dropped their timeline, so it's kind of like a mesh. So I'm not gonna take no credit for it. I was referencing some of the stuff that they have, but like they saying that we start at 2025, and each issue, like Nick mentioned, you can kind of tell which issue is ahead of which issue. And in the 2025, I'm just gonna go through some titles and stuff, and I'll personally say which titles I liked and which one were good in my personal. But I mean, they're all good. You got to check them out. They're short. They're not too long. So at 2025, we have Arkham Knights. It was a side story, super dope. I loved it. We got Batgirls, we got Batman and Superman, Batman, Catwoman, Gotham City Sirens, and we have Harley Quinn. Underrated. Harley Quinn's story was super underrated. It gives you a backside on what's going on in the Magistry. Kind of let you know how are they able to do what they're doing to these villains and superheroes. I mean, it kind of gives you an insight on that. It's super dope. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but you need to read it because you have villains and superheroes kind of working with the Magistry. So it's really dope. After that, they say that we're at 2027, and that's where Dark Detective and Matt's favorite comic, The Flash, is happening, and Teen Titans. That's 2027. They're happening in that little time span. Shazam's happening in 2029. So we have kind of like a 5-year span. Shazam, I liked it. It wasn't that bad. Literally, it had a bunch of cool stuff. In 2030, we got Aquaman, Black Racer. And mind you that some of these stories that I'm mentioning are like little arc stories that are in the back of comics. And they're just kind of referencing different points in Metropolis that's domed up right now, or in Gotham, which is kind of like a police state right now. It's horrible. But I like how they're implementing real life stuff that's going on in real life, like how we're having a problem with law enforcement and law reform, better to say law reform happening all across the world. And here is the comic showing us kind of like that hardcore oppression of law enforcement. It's a cool take on it nonetheless. 2035, we have The Last Lanterns, which is I feel like a whole story by itself, because Lantern stories are stories of their own, and they kind of take on their own mythos, and they take their own character. It's a bunch of lanterns with no rings. I mean, I don't know, Nick, what did you think about The Last Lanterns? Did you like that?
I haven't actually read the Green Lantern story, so I'm not sure about that.
Super dope. I won't spoil it, but I mean, obviously it's The Last Lantern, so not a lot of rings going around, so you kind of get to see, I would call it like a pirate, like a smuggler, Star Wars smuggler pirate story. Very dope. Very dope. And then we go to Justice League, which what Nick was saying is the wrap up for these future state titles that are dealing with Gotham and Metropolis, and we get to see where these stories basically led up. And I'm not gonna spoil nothing because Nick didn't spoil Justice League, but you gotta see it. It's pretty dope. Like what happens in the comic book, I think is pretty cool.
You get a non-binary Flash. That's
right.
I'm just gonna put that out there.
You didn't spoil nothing, so I can't say nothing about Justice League. It's not what you think it is. It's good.
It is what you. They try to learn from the mistakes.
Yeah, it's hard. And at 2050, we have Karzor, L. We got Superwoman happening. We got Yara Flor, which is the new Wonder Woman. So we see her going through hell trying to get her sister back. I'm not gonna spoil again, nothing much. Very cool story. It gave me Hercules vibes throughout the whole thing. She's fighting a Hydra. She has a Pegasus. It's cool. It's very cool. It's a fresh take on her. Yeah.
I just got to jump in, and I second your
Go ahead.
assessment of Wonder Woman. Dude, I got Hercules vibes like from the very beginning of the story, and you feel like she is on this quest. So I have to recommend this title. She's gonna be getting.
It's weird how it gives you Hercules vibes. I felt like I'm watching the Disney Hercules.
Exactly, and I loved it. It has comedy. It has that adventure aspect. You're rooting for her. You're interested in like who she is. She's gonna be getting her own title, her own ongoing title, and this is a perfect jump in on point to anybody that's interested in that. Like Greek / Roman / just mythology in general. Yes.
Yeah, look at her.
Yes.
You say all that, but like as I went as I was reading and all that, I got those same vibes. It's just very methodical, and I love me some Greek and Roman mythology. I'm not.
How about
really-
those little creatures, guys? Let's just, since we're talking about Wonder Woman real quick, to elaborate on her mythos that they're building. Those little black creatures, they're just like in Hercules, the little devil things.
Exactly,
man. Like she's too impulsive. That really just threw me away from her.
But dude,
when they were waiting like at the gates of hell.
That's the beginning of her journey, though. She is impulsive. She is unrefined. She's Batman Year Zero. You know what I mean? Like, and I love that. It felt fun. I was immersed into the story, and I gotta say that the art was absolutely beautiful. So
Joel Jones.
Almost all the artwork on every single story I have read in Future State has been top tier, phenomenal, except for the side stories of Mr. Miracle.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Trash.
He looks dope. I want a toy. I want a toy of Mr. Miracle. Unmasked.
I'm
I like the
sorry,
new look.
but
He looks
they're
sick.
doing it in both. They're doing side stories for Mr. Miracle in both issues of Superman of Metropolis and both issues of Superman World of War. And so far, all three side stories I've read of him are garbage. I'm done with him. Done. The art is
actually
terrible. It looks like the guy. It's watercolored. It doesn't make any sense. It's
kind of like a WandaVision. It'll make sense in the future.
I'm
like
three episodes in. It took after the third episode of freaking WandaVision, I was hooked. Third side story, I'm done.
Third episode of WandaVision, I was like 6.5.
This Wednesday, I could barely even read it.
It's not the best. Don't get me wrong.
Are we
it's not
knocking?
the best.
yeah,
Are
but
we knocking off comics now? Are we talking shit about comics now?
All right,
or-
so
No,
that could.
I've got something to say if we're going.
hey,
if
let
we're,
me just wrap
some
up
bad
the
readers.
timeline. I got two more dates. I got two more
Go,
dates.
keep going, Nuno.
sorry, go ahead, Uno. Sorry, I just want to jump in and
I got two more days. No, don't worry. Wonder Woman is epic. So basically, what I talked about so far was all the titles that Nick mentioned. We're at 2025 to 2050. So they're happening in like a 20-30 year time span. And after that, we jump to 3000. Year 3000, we have House of L and Legion of Superpowers. House of L was pretty dope. I liked it. And one of my favorite was happening in 4500 is Swamp Thing. It's like a whole green dystopian future, and the Swamp Thing is looking for humans. When he doesn't like humans, we know that he does not mess with humans. In this comic, he's actually looking for humans. He has children, and it's dope. You definitely got to check it out. And Black Adam, they just set completely in the future. It's happening in 82,000. Literally. So I haven't gotten to Black Adam. That's
It's
the only
a side story in.
Yeah, I read it in Shazam.
Is it
Not
in
Shazam.
Shazam?
In No, not Shazam.
It's not Shazam because I read it.
Yeah, I read it. What was it in? Dark Detective. Was it in
No.
Batman or something?
It's Suicide Squad.
Justice League.
Suicide
Suicide
Squad.
Suicide Squad. That's it.
All right.
And yeah, Black Adam completely out. And then we got the End of Time, which is Immortal Wonder Woman, and that's dope. I like Immortal Wonder Woman. I don't know.
All right. So in that, 5 to 7 year gap, which the main bulk of the stories happens, there's
Yeah.
two more titles that tie
They
into
are.
each other that happen that I didn't mention. Is the two Flash issues, and they end up and they tie into the beginning of Teen Titans. So the Teen Titans run looks like it's going to be
Yeah,
really good.
right,
You get
right,
a lot
right.
of Deathstroke, and you get the introduction of the first ever canon Red X. But I'll let my friend Matt talk about the first issue of Flash and how he's probably not going to read the second issue.
I'm gonna read the second issue. It's just stuck in New Zealand. My comic shop didn't get it this week, so I've heard a lot from you, Nick. You've promised me that it's redeemed issue 1.
It's done. Before you rant, I'm going to just say it's a shitty first issue with a shitty freaking story. And the second issue did everything they could to wrap it up and make it as bearable as possible. It did a lot of really good stuff, but with a really shitty story, there's not much you could salvage.
Well, spoilers if people are watching this and haven't read The Flash or haven't read what's the one Tom King done where what's Tom King where with Wally where he does Heroes in Crisis.
Heroes in
All right,
Crisis.
if you haven't read those, then turn away, whatever, turn mute, whatever. Anyway, I don't like the fact that fucking Wally West, fucking after all these years, he was rated the best Flash. He was rated in the top 5 DC superheroes of all time. Everyone else going to come back, and they fucking make him a killer. I don't care if you're fucking if you're brainwashed. No superhero should be able to kill, even if they're brainwashed. Okay, now I'm guessing issue 2 might redeem it, whatever. Right, but I'm just getting fucking sick of DC. Just it's watered down storyline from Heroes in Crisis. This is going to bring me into a new segment I want to introduce. All right, it's called "Let's Put It in the Toilet Bag."
Donkey of the day. Donkey of the day.
He had this next to him the whole time. He had this next to him the whole time.
This is all that this fucking book is worth. Toilet paper. And as you can see, I've already got my Ben Diaz Action Comics and Superman run in there. That's been in there since he started it. So I'm never going to run out of toilet paper, to be honest. So let's just put that in here because it's going to be my ass wipe when
Man,
this
you breaking hearts. You breaking
when it goes
hearts.
to phase 3 over here in Melbourne again. I'm going to need toilet paper because I'm going to buy it. Right, so there we go. And while I'm at it, let's just fucking throw this one in there too, because it's just a watered down storyline. We've already seen the bottled fucking version of Metropolis. We've already seen it. Get original. All right, that can go in here too. Okay, here we go. That one will be a nice, good ass wipe.
Damn.
And this one here, I tell you now, it's just a spit on Suicide Squad. It's a spit on just the team. Okay, after the amazing work my boyfriend Tom Taylor done. Okay, this is just an absolute piss in his face. So that there is going to be some toilet paper. And Nick, if you want, you can throw your Mr. Miracles in there too, if you want. And there we go.
You got to read the second issue because it makes it
That's
okay.
all those issues were good for. Other than that, the rest of the issues were.
I'm gonna say my favorite thing about Future State is the costume they put Kara Zor-El in Superman of Metropolis because she looks badass.
Yeah, she kind of.
She don't need no skirt. I don't need her to have a skirt. She looks like a fucking
like that
badass
ex-girlfriend that's gonna beat you up if you cheat on her.
She ain't need no skirt. I don't care about no skirt. I don't need no crop top. She is a super woman.
But what do you guys think? What do you think is going to be the end of all this? When Future State ends, right? What do you think's the next game plan?
Oh, I think at the end of Future State, we're going to find out the whole world is taken over by Cybeast. Which is Cyborg was somehow fused with Beast Boy.
And they talk in like different phrases.
Dude,
like when they're talking,
it's so cool.
Shows you Cyborg talking, and we're at the point where they both accepted each other's counterparts. So like the Beast Boy accepted being a robot,
but like they're best friends.
Yeah, it's
like
insane.
That's the funny part is that they're best friends. And when he morphs into animals, they're like mechanical.
They're transformers, basically.
So a question for you guys that are much more well versed in DC than I am, but what are you guys' thoughts on the direction of like the overarching villain, I guess? Because I feel like in DC the last couple years, it's just one big ass, like multi-universe villain that's gonna destroy the whole like DC
Like the
universe
Marvel
and
guy, right? Like the Venom Marvel guy.
They're screwing it up like they're screwing up their
uh,
fucking movies.
yeah,
That's
but
what they're doing.
I guess DC has gone very very cosmic, right? In
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
again like overarching villain with huh yeah with what was it Dark Knight's Metal, and then the other villain I can't remember her name. Um,
Or Myth-
Poetrus,
yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah. So
Poetrus.
and I feel like it's this cataclysmic, and then Brainiac with convergence. Like all of that shit is just very very overarching. Do you guys feel after Future State's done that they're gonna bring it back more to like I guess um
Well,
uh
if you look at Infinite Frontier, the cover, it kind of looks like that other one. What is it? Great Frontier or whatever? Which was more of like a World War II kind of era.
yeah
So if you compare it to me, it's kind of like a comparison of look at Infinite Frontier. Yes, we're gonna bring in the multiverse of all sorts of, of different dimensions and whatnot, but it is gonna be more. It's gonna be grounded.
It looks
yeah
from
gotcha.
from the teases we've gotten, it looks like DC's gonna focus individually on each like brand, because like you see a lot of stuff going on like being advertised with Batman with post Joker War, and that's gonna be like a huge like focus. And like the Flash, they've basically come out and said that Wally West is going to be the new Flash permanently.
Killer. A new Flash can be killer.
Don't
Okay.
like it. I don't like Wally West. I don't
What
know
do you
why.
mean you don't like Wally West?
No,
Wally
don't
West is
be
the
like
best
that. Every
Flash,
time I
mate.
say I don't like Wally West, everyone's attacking me. I don't know, and that's why I'm laughing at Matt because it's so ironic he don't like the Flash comic or what they're doing because I love it. Yeah, fucking turn everyone, make it bad.
I just like that they brought back all these characters in this last Flash run leading into Death Metal. There's all these characters that have been gone for so long, and they've wiped out that whole like rebirth thing where everyone came back and like people don't remember certain people like Connor Kent. Like people didn't remember Connor Kent. People didn't remember Bart. People didn't remember Wally. Like they brought back all these characters. This reset has allowed them to bring back all these fan favorite characters, and now they can do new characters. They're now able to do stories like the next Batman Second Son that's coming out, the stuff with the new Wonder Woman. They're able to do all these weird new things while also taking the fan favorite ongoings and just focusing on building them back up to what they were. Because there was, I don't remember what future state story it is that introduced Gold Beetle, but she's apparently going to be like a character in the Flash run that's coming up with Wally. You got Max Mercury's back, Bart Allen's back, Wally West kids are alive and have powers. Jesse Quick is back. You got Jay Garrick. You have the who's the new Chinese Flash? You have the Chinese Flash. He's there. You have Wallace West. You have this huge team of speedsters, and apparently they're gonna make Wally in charge again. So hopefully, Wally can rebuild his reputation with his family.
Yeah.
That's all I want out of this Infinite Frontier. I want things to go back to the way they were when like the 90s Wally. Perfect.
So we haven't heard from Carlo yet with
Yeah.
this future title, so I'll have him wrap up the future title segment of this.
All right, so welcome to Carlos Corner. I'm gonna go with the good, bad, and the ugly, and the okay. So for the good, so out of the future states, out of January, this is the good, and that's the next Batman Let me turn off my background so you guys can see as I talk.
There'll be no one naked in your background, mate.
Okay.
That's
So this is the good. I like the splash page where Katana is like going through the roof, and
Oh,
you
with
can
the
see.
outsider story.
It's
That's-
happening in 45 seconds.
Yeah, and you can follow the bubbles, so you can. It's easy to read, and then how they transition from story to story. So like the side stories, it's an easy transition. The bad, I'm gonna go with the Flash because it was just a boring story, and they had these helmets, and they're communicating, and it's just like weird and kind of lame. It's like I'm kind of lost. I mean, this timeline is already all over the place, and what's going on with these fucking helmets? It's like
They're the think cap. It's one of his villains' weapons. It's the think cap, the thinking cap.
I didn't get it. And then the ugly was Superman Metropolis. I got this book for the cover. I love Frank Cho. I'll get any of his covers. But I agree with Nick. Her Supergirl's outfit was amazing. She looks really badass.
Amazing. I would love to
Amazing.
see that come back. I hope that's her permanent outfit.
Yeah. But yeah, they have like a panel where like the brain villain is explaining like it's kind of insulting to the reader. It's like, oh, I'm the brain. You served as Brainiac's last one of traditional life, and he just like talking like, man, that's garbage. And then the okay, I do like the Hercules vibes. She's badass, and it's like a fun issue to read. It's not too serious. It's kind of funny, and it's like laid back, and yeah, there you have it. Thank you for attending.
Nice one. Nice one.
Everybody
Alright.
go read Man Bat. It's the best issue DC's put out all year.
And that's it from you, Nick. Someone mute Nick. That's done. Done.
I gotta check out Man Bat.
I'm just saying, Matt ain't putting that in his toilet bag.
Nah, no way. This is a beautiful book.
So
Andy, you want to transition us?
This goes into the tissue box.
I don't know what kind of freaky shit you into, Matt, bro. Tissue boxes and lube and shit, and bats, man.
Batman.
let's just go ahead and move to the next part now. We don't want to. We don't need to worry about what Matt does. Let's just go on.
Fetish.
Well, there's a segue. Let's talk about Tom Taylor and Deceased.
That's another part of your tissue box, right?
The
Tom
future
Taylor.
writer of Nightwing.
Oh, so yeah, no, he did. He finally finished Deceased and Deceased Dead Planet, and I gotta say that was a beautiful story from start to end. Nothing, even the bad things, like I didn't want to see Jason die. That was still such a great part of the story. It just, I don't know what else to say. And the way that this book starts out with the Amazo army destroying all of Australia. And then introducing the
You
new
out, Matt.
it's just beautiful. Like showing Cassandra Cain in a Shazam suit and everything. That was I can try to show it, but it's not gonna do it justice. Like,
Oh,
that's
wow.
just
Wow.
beautiful.
That's hot.
And then goes into Superman and Batman trying to find a way to stop the Amazo
Who
army.
is
and
Damian
Batman
and John Kent?
hurt.
Oof.
Exactly.
Oof.
Exactly. I'm gonna give him the respect, and that his name is Superman. His name is Batman. That's
Hey,
who
Manny,
they are.
I had a question, Manny, because I didn't read the last issue. Is that the issue when we see the smoking character? I don't want to spoil anything. The guy who smokes a lot.
John Constantine, baby.
Constantine.
Is that the issue? Is that the
He
issue?
writes. Tom Taylor is made for writing Constantine, man.
Oh
Listen,
my God.
that issue looked like it was a tearjerker. I went
Yeah.
through it. Like I went through it. It looked like a tearjerker issue, man. I just
I
wanted-
loved Constantine in this.
I
this
just
series.
wanted I just wanted to add that real quick because I saw a few pages. I didn't read it. It looked like a heavy hitter issue, man.
For me, it was more of a tearjerker when Jason Todd died, because it's just so much of his character growth. When he died, that to me, I was like, damn, like that. There's why'd you do that?
That's how I felt when
so
Arsenal
good,
got
but why'd
killed.
you do it?
Damn.
And then but same thing with John Constantine, except he didn't get so much of a character growth. Before this, he like stabbed a god. He tricked Dr. Fate. He's like, everyone's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm doing what I have to do."
Well, the
And
first
of
couple
course now,
issues of Deceased, he was like, "What is going on with him?" Like he's just sulking around.
He's doing the Doctor Strange thing. I noticed that in the issues, like he already, I guess, figured out different parallels of the universe. Like, because like Manny
No,
said, he messes
it
with Doctor
seems like
Fate.
he knew what he was gonna do. It looks like
Yeah.
he knew he was gonna do this ultimate sacrifice that
Yeah.
nobody would say that he would do. But he did it, and he took down Trigon. Is it Trigon? Do you guys pronounce it Trigon?
It's Trigon.
Trigon.
Raven's daddy.
Yeah, no.
How
so he
else? How
took
else?
down
What's the other
Trigon.
pronunciation of it?
Trigon?
I mean, it could be Trigon.
Mephisto.
On that note, do you guys say dark side or dark seed?
Dark side.
Dark side. But no, I mean, the way that this ends with everybody being brought back, everyone that survived that was anti-living, and they were able to get brought back. Obviously, a couple people died because of the Amazo army, but it ends with Tempest talking to Mera, Hippolyta talking to Cassandra. I really love John opening the storm shelter and bringing back Clark Kent's dad. He's like, "Hi, Grandpa." And he's like, "Oh, you've grown." It's beautiful. And then of course the final page of Green Arrow and the new Green Lantern. Just he's back. The last thing he remembers is him dying, but it gives a hopeful
Green
ending.
Canary.
The planet's not dead. And then hopefully, to me, as much as I loved this series, I want it to be done because I don't want it to be ruined. I don't want it, and nobody touching it. A new writer coming in and trying to do some other shit. Let it be done. Let it end beautifully the way it has.
I would
like,
enjoy
Injustice.
a spin-off
show.
just Batman Superman in this world.
Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Leave it.
Just Tom
Yeah.
Taylor.
I agree there for sure. Like,
Tom
Batman
Taylor
Superman,
writing
John.
like Damian and John Kent in this post like zombie world. That would be incredible. The only other thing I want to mention, it's like the coolest thing ever that happened in like the last two issues is Detective Chimp is the carrier of Etrigan.
Oh yeah, he is too.
That is the coolest thing ever. Because every time he has to summon him, he's like, "I gotta do this again." And then Etrigan's like, "Why this stupid chimp summon me? Why is this monkey summoning me? I told him to leave me alone."
Yes. Honestly, that was pretty good, but I hate Detective Chimp. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I don't like him. When he showed up in Death Metal, I was like, why is he here?
He
And
was
then
good
he
in
showed
Death
up
Metal
in-
with Nightwing in Justice League.
Yo,
He was
I
broken.
enjoyed. I really enjoyed his backstory in that, man. Like I thought it was pretty cool.
For the people
was
that
it?
don't know, how did he become the manifestation of Etrigan?
They don't really explain it.
Yeah, they don't. He just got it.
They say, well, you find out in like the first issue of Deceased Dead Planet that what's his name, Jason
Blood.
Blood is dead, and that's why one of the reasons why Constantine's like moping around all sad.
Yeah.
But you don't
At the
really,
bar,
they
right?
don't really
At the bar
explain.
over there.
But the fact that he was able to, at the end, Constantine saved the day by mixing the powers of Dr. Fate, Shazam, he took like every mystical person's powers.
And even Deadman.
Oh,
Oh
my
Yeah,
God! I
Dead
forgot
Man.
Deadman at the end because he dies and then he comes back and he possesses Trigon and brings him down to size and then stabs himself.
Yeah, he's
That
just
is
like
perfect writing, mate. Perfect writing.
Dude, I
part of
gotta
my
say,
plan.
without a doubt, Tom Taylor is my favorite modern writer. It's
Yeah.
Tom Taylor and James Tynion the fourth are two of my favorite writers.
They're doing a great job. And like with Deceased, I think one of my favorite parts is honestly just the character growth of Damien. Like the way he just took into the role of Batman, and he's the complete opposite of Batman. He not only is he a badass, but he's like emotionally just available to everybody. He's not over there trying to push anybody away or anything like that. It's just he is Batman, like the best possible Batman that we could have, in my opinion. And like, I don't know, man. This whole series, there's so many good things that happen in this series.
Yo,
I can't even.
now
The
now
internet
that
one's still going? The one that
Was
they've
it?
got, because there was one that was digital only. Is that still going, or is that finished?
No, that's in between. That's how that shows him like
Yeah.
stepping in and like growing into Batman.
Yeah.
dude,
I
like,
haven't read that one yet. That's I look forward to that one, but I haven't read it yet.
now that this is over, really quick, I'm just still wondering where the fuck is Dark Ages? Because, dude, Tom Taylor and
Oh yeah, that got pushed back.
Marvel,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
dude,
got
like,
pushed back.
huh?
They got pushed back.
No, I know, but I'm just like, where is it? I want it because, dude, it's Tom Taylor with Ivan Coelho as artist, who's like the artist on Venom, and dude, his art's just amazing.
Yeah.
But Tom Taylor doing a version of DC's for Marvel.
I
wanna
just
see
want. I just can't wait for Nightwing to come out in March with Tom Taylor and. Oh my god, I can't wait.
He's gonna have. Has anyone done that? He's gonna have. He's gonna have his DC and Marvel books coming out at the same time.
I think
He's
people have
That's
done
pretty
that.
dope, right?
Yeah,
Have people done that?
yeah. Unless you sign an exclusive contract, which he has not, you can work.
No,
for
no,
any-
he's an indie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Get that money, boy.
But he's a big DC head.
Yeah.
Nah, he just loves Batman. He loves his Marvel.
I think he's a big money head. He loves money.
I'll go knock. He's my next door neighbor, so he's. We have some chats here and there. So I told him not to reply to you, Manny.
Damn, he blacklisted you, Manny. He blacklisted you before you even did anything.
Have you guys been seeing these Nightwing covers that are all over the internet? Like that they keep.
Yeah, how
posting?
many are there?
I don't know, but they're all beautiful. There's a bunch that he's been putting out, and then you have all this Batman artwork with freaking Jorge Jimenez.
Yeah, he's good. Jorge Jimenez is good.
Dude, he's taking on the interiors of Batman with James Tynion. This is about to be the best Batman run ever.
I don't know, man. I don't know how it's going to top the Zack Snyder, the Snyder one. I'm not Zack Snyder. the Snyder one.
Tynion's great, and Jorge's work.
That was
his
my
art-
favorite one, the 52 run. With the Court of Owls being introduced, that was turning point for Batman for me. Like you like I liked everything Batman, but we knew all the heroes from that we knew for the longest. They just elaborated different. But once we started getting like Court of Owls and we started seeing them tied into the mythos of Gotham, man, I love that.
I'm
Tom
ready for
King,
this
mate.
this
King
Joker
Batman.
title that's coming out in March. We got
Yeah.
freaking a new ongoing Batman title. Batman, was it Legacy?
Yeah, you know what? Let's just make this into the last segment of this talk from Matt. And what are you guys looking forward to? So Nick, you were already talking about it, but
Yeah.
what are we looking forward
So
to in this next month?
After Future State wraps up, they basically with Death Metal and Future State, they've basically pushed and teased what's coming now. I'm really excited to see what happens with Wally West. I'm really excited for you posted in our group the other day, Manny. There's a bunch of Future State titles that are continuing. You get to
Yep.
see the introduction of next Batman and how maybe that gets to Future State. You get to see the adventures of Red Hood, which we didn't actually mention really what happens in the Red Hood side story, but basically he's betrayed the Bat family and he's hunting down masks for the magistrate. You get to see those adventures continue in an ongoing. And then you have a new, like, you have Batman title, you have the you have Detective Comics, which has a bunch of side stories and different characters all the time. But now you're gonna have a third Batman title. Is it Batman Legacy?
And that Batman, the Three Jokers is coming out a new one too.
Really?
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, a black label.
Oh, Yeah, Black Label doesn't really affect.
Oh, come on, guys!
No,
Black Label's like
no,
the best thing.
they're great, but they're not. They don't really ever tie into the current timeline that's going on.
DC, I thought they were using metal to clean up the whole freaking timeline, whole universe. And
messed
now
it
they're
up.
bringing out this whole let's have this and let's have future space state keep going. You know what? I think DC need to just freaking just stop with it all, like trying to just different
Urban Legends.
timelines and all that shit. And I reckon they just go to freaking. And I'm gonna cop a lot of heat for this because I know a lot of people don't like it. I just think comics should just go to 6-issue series and that's it. Cut next. None of
You
these
don't want an
55
ongoing?
bloody. No, I don't want ongoing anymore. Nick Spencer, I know we're talking about DC right now, but Nick Spencer's turned me off freaking on fucking going shit, man. Finish the story before you start another story.
This is gonna
Get
get
the
controversial.
toilet bag. Get the toilet bag.
This is gonna get controversial.
but like, if they're not going to finish off, I think the problem is, and we saw with Tom King's Batman, they just drag. I think if they've told, listen, you got 10 issues to get your full story done, not let's plant seeds in the first 6 issues, then the next 6 issues, let's plant some more seeds, and then the next 6 issues, plant more. I think they see their problem is they just drag the stories, and the only time I've seen Marvel drag it at the moment is with Amazing Spider-Man, because Donny Cates is killing it on everything else, but just Amazing Spider-Man's dragging. But I think they see they just either tell their writers to wrap it up in 6 issues, or fucking just go to short stories. And I don't want Future State to continue. I don't want it. Like, I'm enjoying it, but I don't think it should continue. You don't have, you know what I mean? I'm over this timeline. Just have one fucking timeline, man. Simple.
Yeah, this whole like, I know Wonder Woman's gonna be a huge thing, but like Yara Flor, but like the fact that they just announced her oncoming and it's gonna be like before this whole Future State stuff, I was just like, well, that kind of, I don't know, it throws me off, and that's what I was saying to you guys in the chat the other day. It's just that I'm in that age where I'm like, leave my heroes alone.
Yeah.
I want them
Yeah,
to
like,
be.
I don't understand why they're doing this. It's called Gotham.
Yeah.
Like it's cool, but like it's definitely unnecessary. I didn't expect them to bring in next Batman's second son. I didn't expect that to be a thing at all. Like these are things that no one really asked for, and they're like kind of like I'm enjoying Future State, but like I thought it was just gonna be like a cool glimpse into the possible future. So like just to get new ideas out and refresh things and restart some stuff, and then we go back with a new refreshed DC universe and we can build back and restart some titles at issue 1. But
That's exactly what I was.
The problem with DC is now they're becoming especially with AT&T taking over, they're becoming a money grab. They're not about like quality, man. They're not, you know what I mean? They're not about good quality product. They're just about money. Make money. You look at like Marvel on the other hand, they're all about the quality at the moment. They're making good comics. But DC, I think they're just too busy trying to make the money, trying to like 3 Jokers again. Just leave it. The freaking one, the first one was
can I
great.
just say that X of Swords is fucking trash?
Yeah, it's not good. It's
X
not
of
good.
Swords, like, and I love it, but it like going into X of Swords, everything was super fucking slow. The 20X books, and it was super slow. And then X of Swords was cool, but it was really a waste of time. And now things are starting to pick up again and be interesting. But they wasted fucking 4 months of my life. Like
I'm gonna
at
be
least with
honest.
DC, every book that I read, I fucking love it. I love it. Like I don't know, I love it, dude. The Flash stuff, the Batman stuff, I love it. I would take a bullet for it. Like Joker War, awesome, and 3
good.
Jokers is okay, but it's a Black Label thing. That's its own separate label. It's a side story that doesn't affect the main universe. It's just a random story they can just make whenever they want.
Nah, it continues on from when Justice League 50, when he sits on the Mobius chair in the New 52 and asks who the 3 Jokers is.
Yeah, but
The Black Label
technically nothing in Black Label actually happens in the current DC continuity.
They use they're using Black Label. It's still a part of the universe. They're just using Black Label to tell a more adult version of it. That's what Black Label is.
That's Black Label.
They just
right.
they use the Black Label to show you Bruce Wayne naked.
If you're telling me that he actually made out with freaking Barbara Gordon, I'm about to throw some hands.
No. So Black Label, you're right, is for more adult whatever, but it's non-canon. It's not
non-canon. It's
And like
just
it
for
would
them to be very
They said
creative.
They said the Three Jokers is canon.
no, you were right about the fact with the New 52 and the Mobius chair and everything. It was supposed to be canon, but because like it got pushed back so many times, they were just like, yeah, you know what, throw it into the Black Label. We'll
And
make
it's not real no more, right?
it
Okay.
not canon anymore.
Like that Batman White Knight stuff. That's not canon.
I hated that. I didn't
Yeah,
like.
no, that is. Well,
But,
when the comics come back and
Batcat
the
isn't
Joker-
technically canon.
Nope, not at all. Even
But
though all of that time,
but Batcat is continuing on from the fucking wedding of Tom King's run.
exactly. Even though it was supposed to be canon, but because they said, "Hey, you're done at 80 instead of 100," he couldn't tell his story. They said, "Oh,
So-
we'll put it into the Black Label," but it's not.
Basically, this is DC's version of Marvel What If.
Nah, that's whatchamacallit.
I thought What If
That's
was the different
multiple.
superheroes taking on different mantles. Like, what if Captain America was Iron Man?
Well,
What if
well,
Iron
no.
Man-
What If is just a
That's
bunch
them
of
on the
different shit.
dark.
Well,
That's
yeah,
multiverse. That's their what if.
yeah, but Black Label's kind of like, okay, what if this storyline continued? And they,
Black Label was also for like adults.
yeah.
Black Label's like the Marvel Max.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
Black Label is what you guys need to be reading and talking about.
There's no Black Label ongoings, right?
Hey, I like my comics Black Label. I like my drink Black Label.
But like I was saying before, that new Bat title, Batman Urban Legends, they ended the Red Hood ongoing, and now it's exclusively in this title with Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Grifter, and the Outsiders. So I'm assuming they canceled Outsiders, they canceled Red Hood. I'm assuming the Harley Quinn's not gonna have a ongoing anymore, and she and Poison Ivy are just gonna share a slot in this issue every month.
Well, I think they've gone down to 30. They're only down to 31 books a month or something. The guy at the comic shop was telling me that DC's cut down a lot after Future State. It's going to be cut down a lot.
So it's the Bat titles at least now are Batman, Detective Comics, Batman Urban Legends, Nightwing's continuing. You're getting Robin.
Yeah, but I think you're losing like Aquaman. You're losing other ones.
Because the more people say they don't want Bat titles, the more Bat titles they give you.
No, I think
Well,
there's too many Bat titles.
They just gave us a brand new Bat title with 6 Bat titles inside the one title. Like, what the?
I think just Batman and Batman Detectives. That's it. I think there should be just 2 Batman titles.
I like Nightwing. Like, and
two
I'm
Superman
excited for this
titles.
Robin run.
Yeah.
Nightwing should get his own.
Well, it's
Because now they have 2 Wonder Womans.
It's Damien. I just only care about because Teen Titans is done, right? Teen Titans is done. Young Justice is done.
Got Gotham Academy though.
Oh, Teen Titans Academy. That's gonna be sick because you Red X baby.
No, but like moving on to like other stuff that I'm really excited. This next month is King and Black is still gonna be going.
Oh
And-
my god.
I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with this, but America Chavez is finally coming out.
Yes. Did you see that ad? There was an ad this week in one of the books, and it's a full page, and it's like a text message, and it's Kate Bishop talking to
Oh yeah, I saw it.
what's her name, American Chavez,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, like I just found out my origin or something."
Well, okay. So yeah, no, I am excited about that. Daredevil. I want to see where they're going with the whole Elektra being Daredevil, and to go off of DC and Marvel, I'm excited for Radiant Black, which is coming out this week. I think.
Yep, I got it pre-ordered.
Yep. Radiant Black is something I'm excited to read and probably talk about next time we do comics.
We have to.
Which one's that?
Radiant.
Image Comics.
We're gonna start
Oh,
doing
wow.
reviews of DuckTales
Start
comic
reading
books.
it.
And Manny, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's from the same writer that's writing Power Rangers, right?
Yes, Ryan Parrott, I think. Let me see. Let me verify. I can continue talking. I'm gonna verify this.
But yeah, I'm personally excited for Radiant Black because I got to Power Rangers really late, and I've seen some of the previews of the interior artwork, and it's looking boss, man. Like
I was wrong.
gonna ask before we wrap up everything. Do we want to give maybe like deceased rating, maybe future state a rating? See how we're
10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. I'm giving it 10 everywhere. 10, 10, 10.
I'm
Not
gonna say
Future State.
deceased is as an event. I love events. I grew up reading events, love events. Deceased is a solid event. I give it a because he has so many moving parts. I'm gonna give it an 8.
So if I had to go, basically one, I was wrong. It's not Ryan Parrott. It's Kyle Higgins. That he is a Power Rangers writer, but he's doing the Radiant Black. But Deceased for sure 10, and Future State. I'm only reading like 2 of those, and one of them is Flash, unfortunately. So the average gets down to 5. So Future State is not. I'm not digging it.
I'll give
Go ahead, Nuna.
Go ahead, Carlo. I'm sorry.
All right, I'll go ahead.
Oh, me? Okay. I'll just you.
We're losing you, Nuno.
That damn Floridian storm, man.
Coming to New York is snow, baby.
It's rough over there, man.
So I'll go ahead while your internet takes a break. So Future State, I'll give it a 7.5. A lot of like the timeline is too confusing. I mean, if I like really focus on it, I can understand it better. But I read comic books to relax and have a good time. Things like Yara Floor, that was fun. That was cool. The Harley Quinn one was kind of nice to read because you get into her mind and she's being used to like, oh, how do we catch Mr. Pig and how do we get Fireflies? Like, okay, that's cool. That's a cool take on her. And then Swamp Thing was pretty cool too because you see, I mean, it's a different time and it's a different type of feel to it. Like it's not it's past like World War Z. It's like way in the future and things are different. So yeah, that was fun. So yeah, 7.5 for Future State.
Cool. I'm only reading I've only had the chance to read Wonder Woman and Dark Detective. I'm gonna try and jump on like the other titles and catch up because a lot of stuff does sound interesting. But for Wonder Woman, I'm gonna give it a solid 7.5. Like I enjoyed it. It was fun. A solid 7.5. Dark Detective. I'm missing so much context when it comes to the magistrate and just what's going on with the whole like Bat family and Gotham and all that stuff. But the two self-contained issues, I give it a solid 7. It makes me want to like find out what's actually happening. Obviously, that rating may change once I read the other titles, but I think that Future State has a lot of interesting stuff. I want to get caught up on it more, but from what everything that you guys have said, I think that I'd probably agree with the rating once I read everything. So, yeah.
I'll give Future State a 2. We'll take the Flash out and we'll give it a fucking an 8. But I'm reading. There you go, Nicholas. Now I'm probably reading 70% of them. I'm not. The only ones I'm not reading is Catwoman and what's his name, Swamp Thing. But I'll give it a 7. Even though I love Tom Taylor, Deceased 9.5. I don't give 10s. There's no such thing as perfect scores in my world. There's always room for improvement. But well, there is. Like, come on, who's next? Nuno, you next? Your storm's over. You can talk.
Storm's over. I don't know. It just turned back on. I was gonna turn off the server, but I'll give Future State an 8 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. Like it's slowly growing. I'm sure in Future State, and I didn't read the last Deceased that just came out, but I have to give the Deceased 9 out of 10. It really feels like a fake story, like they're telling like it's not real because it's so good. Like this can't be like continuity. Like it's so good. Like I love it. I don't know. I really like this series.
Yeah, no, I think
and that's it for me. My internet is very
you sound like Ultron.
Take care, man.
No, I think that where Future State went wrong is the fact that they tried to do like the whole magistrate thing between a whole bunch of titles, and then say, oh, and by the way, it's only a 2 month event. Oh, and by the way, you're gonna have to buy 50 different titles to make sure, because not everybody's gonna buy every single
So
title.
the thing with the magistrate is it's
DC
not like
does. DC does
you
that.
you don't have to read all of them. It's just an event that's happening, and all these books are like happening at the same time in the same place, and this event's kind of involved with all of them. But like, it's not like death metal where you have to read everything because everything pieces together. It just kind of it's the time, like they're in Gotham. All these books are in Gotham, and it's happening. There's things happening in Gotham.
Yeah, I just think it's too much to do for a 2 month event. I don't know. I think they should have kept it light. But that's just me. But other than that, do we have any other things to talk about with DC in Future State? Read Flash #2. All
Oh,
right. Oh, Carl.
No, I was just say overall, I just think that both DC and Marvel right now, I think it's a good time to be a comic fan. I think there's a lot of cool stuff coming out. You know, not everything's good, but I just think that there's so much to pick from, and I think that even though the comic book industry unfortunately was halted for a while due to COVID and just everything happening, I think that creators are wanting to pump out a bunch of stuff, and there's just so much news coming out. Yeah, exactly.
This
Nick.
is
So
a month and a half.
yeah, man, and you know what? Like, my wallet is hurting, my wallet is bleeding.
Oh yeah, you're the
but
variant boy.
Spider-Man 55, red, blue, white.
yeah, dude, like, you
But
know, but I just think that it's great. Like I mentioned, and I'm just happy to be able to get together with you guys and just talk comics, and for all of the fans out there, and for anyone that's watching or that ends up tuning in, if you guys ever want to talk to us about comics, drop us a like, drop us some comments on our one month later Instagram page, drop us comments here, and we just love to talk. We just love to talk comics, and there's so much to talk about. And I think that this is, again, like I mentioned, I think this is going to be a great year for comics. So yeah, other than that,
yeah,
good.
Absolutely.
I
So
think Future State's gonna be a great omnibus or an absolute edition.
as an omnibus, yes, because you have everything there.
In the right order and everything. That's gonna be sick.
Yes. Well, that just leads into a reminder of make sure you follow us here on Twitch. Because if you go here on Twitch, you can always just message us. We can talk. Anything that you say, I'll bring it up to the group, and we'd love to talk.
You can always watch the VODs within a month.
Exactly. So, because then you can go to YouTube if you can't catch us live. YouTube podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, and we do have a Discord. I believe we have it here on the About Me for Twitch. You can find it in my Instagram page, Manny Reads Comics, and the Instagram page called 1 Month Later Club Podcast. It's a Discord, so if you ever have any ideas for us or you want us to talk about something, hit the Discord up and we will all see that. But other than that, thank you for viewing this. Thank you for listening. See you guys in a month. Yeah, see you later.
Thanks, guys.